Big night of football at the J. Davidson Stadium, 0-0 against Boston United, and we're talking to manager Lee Sinnott. Lee, I don't know what it was like for you on the bench, but watching that was a really tense game.
It was tense. I mean, as you get nearer the end of the season, I suppose the games are going to get a little bit more tenser, aren't they? But I thought it was a tight affair. You could tell by the clear opportunities that were created. They were extremely rare, wasn't there? And when we were, I would say, pushing in the second half, you always have to be careful, that you don't leave the door ajar. And so I was pleased with our level of defending on that aspect. But yeah, I can appreciate it. Yeah, it was tense. You always thought that it, and I said to the players at half time, this could be a one-goal game. One goal could decide it, but it ended up 0-0. So I mean, that's another point on the board, and it's important that it'd be lovely to win every game from now to the end of the season, and we've got 7 left, and we'll have to see on that. But to add a point in a tight game is still credible.
A dramatic and controversial opening to the game. Nicky Clee's been taken out by Indy Orgler very, very early on, and eventually he's had to hobble off. And then Carl Piergiani could easily have seen red for a foul.
Well, I mean, I didn't have a good view of Nicky with the foul, but I did ask him at half time, and he's obviously played the ball with his left foot, and it's his right knee that's a problem. So I mean, the referee saw it, and he judged it the way he did with the ball through, where Carl has obviously pulled. I think it was Reevesy back, wasn't it? And or Wally. Maybe because they weren't under full control of the ball. I don't know. All I know is that those kind of decisions can go either way, can't they? So, but I mean, we moved on. So.
I've been quite pleased with the performance generally. We were with the team on top for the majority of the game. Yet Boston probably had the stronger cutting edge at certain times.
Well, I mean, you could tell that. I mean, we've come across this before. I mean, it reminded me so much, and I said to the players at half time of the Harrogate Town game, where they come with a defensive plan. It was a defensive plan, and they worked very hard at it, to limit our chances. And then, obviously, when they could do, they wanted to, spring a counter attack against us. And I thought for a long majority of the time that we dealt well with that. I mean, I think the difference, the only thing that was probably missing for us tonight, which is obviously a goal, and how do you get a goal, was just that key to unlock the door in the around the penalty box.
Yeah, sometimes some good approach play, and just when you thought the trigger was going to be pulled or something was going to happen, perhaps the decision making wasn't 100%.
Well, that's it, and you get that in certain games, Brian, don't you? I mean, it'd be wonderful if you had, a perfect scenario after every game, or looking at it after every game. But yes, I'd agree with you. Is that key to unlock the door? A bit of decision making. The ball coming into the box. Yeah, but you will get those games, like I said, and although we drew. We shouldn't underestimate the value of a point. I mean, like I said, it's we want to win every game, of course we do. But if you're not going to win a game, make sure that you don't lose it.
I'm looking at the results tonight. Telford have taken a hell of a hammering up at Nethermore, which just goes to show what a good side Guiseley are. Hensford have come back from 2-0 down against Brackley to scramble a draw. So all in all, with the scoreline here at the J. Davidson Stadium, it's been a very good night for North Ferriby.
Well, of course, yeah. Sometimes you can gain much by doing nothing. But I mean, let's face it. We have 7 games to go. Some people have 6 games. Some people there's a lot of twists and turns, I'd imagine, still to go. I think it can shift from Tuesday to Saturday to Tuesday. And the way we would look at it, we just approach every game. We just try and win every game and look at the next game. But I mean, we're not the favourites, so we're not getting involved in that kind of thing. We'll just keep plugging away, game by game, and like I said to the players, and we've had this target for a couple of months now, that can we secure the playoff place? How many points will it take? Well, there's people have different opinions of that. The next target will be to beat our points tally of last season, which was 80 points, and then after that, well, you see what's on offer. So we're not looking ahead to that game or this game. We just look ahead to the next game.
We're not favourites, but we are in with the chance of winning the league.
Well, I mean, I don't consider us to be favourites, and that's the way I'm looking at it. We approach each game as it comes, and we'll see where it takes us. So,
Be interesting to see now what reaction Telford gets for Liam Watson on Saturday, taking a hell of a hammering. And when you lose a game, having got into the winning mentality, there's always a big question to answer.
Well, that's it. I mean, Telford have been on a wonderful run, haven't they? I mean, I don't know when they lost the last game, so it's a bit like us tonight, dropping points. It'd be wonderful to think you could win every game to the end of the season, but things are quite tight, and they'll get even tighter as it closes down to the end of April and the last game of the season. So, you know, whatever anybody else is doing, well, you know, that's not in our domain. We just have to concentrate. And I'm sorry for sounding boring, but just on, you know, the next game, and can we acquire the 3 points, and we'll take it from there.
Finally, Lee, a huge game now at the new Bucks Head. It's a lovely stadium, and no doubt both teams going to be massively up for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a tasty one, as there's been a tasty one tonight. I mean, let's face it, I mean, this was a tasty one. It's against Boston. Boston are in the playoffs. You had Brackley against Hensford, and you had Guiseley against Telford. Now, as you've just mentioned, we play Telford on Saturday, and if you look at everybody else's fixtures, from now until the end of the season, I dare say there's some tasty ones in there. And if you don't think there is tasty ones in there, then there could be ones where you could slip up. So I'm sorry for sounding very boring again, but it's each game as it comes, 3 points at a time, and see if we can pick off those targets that we've got in mind.
Lee Sinnott, after the 0-0 draw against Boston United, looking forward to Saturday's big game at the New Bucks Head against Telford United.